I was cooking fried chicken earlier this week. I was cooking fried chicken because I was seeking comfort. I was seeking something familiar. I was seeking something that just reminded me of times that I spent with people over a good meal and how many memories and stories we shared. I don't cook fried chicken often because, like most people, I'm scared of the grease popping. So I stand about 1 foot away as I put the chicken in. So I'm this type of person that drops it and leaves the room. But that particular day, I wanted to do something really brave and something that took me out of my comfort. I just stood there while I dropped the chicken in, and I got popped by the grease. That was my biggest fear. And when I got popped by the grease, I screamed and I said some words I can't say today. But in like 2 minutes after I took care of myself, I just kept on cooking the chicken. And even though I still had that sensation of that burn, I had so much comfort of the meal that I cooked. And it reminded me so much about, like, I'm gonna live with pain. Even in the moments where I'm seeking happiness. That doesn't mean I'm without it. And this first poem that I'm gonna do is about sometimes we're without people, but we still have that happiness. Because we still have community, we still have each other, and we still have all the healing that we're gonna do on ourselves and others. This poem is called Irregular Heartbeat. I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air, all I heard them say is, where the real kings at, where the real kings at. I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air, all I heard them say is, where the real queens at, where the real queens at. I was at the house party, music so loud, hands waving in the air, all I heard them say is, where the real kings at, where the real queens at, where the real kings. All we heard was the sirens. All I heard was my irregular heartbeat. And every time I hear my irregular heartbeat, I think to myself, when the last time I hugged a grown man like a newborn child? Probably the same time he got new bracelets. You know, handcuffs that fit tight around his wrist, as tight around his wrist as that robbery performed yesterday. But tell me, when do we ever feel safe? Because there's no vault for our emotions, so we be feeling like, no one be feeling like, man, no one be feeling like us. And all we want to do is feel like the superhero. You know, save ourselves and a few others. Well, that's the irony right there. Because most people are birthed with a superpower. You know, alien to this world flying high, because he's above it all, to avoid a space, looking down at the world, listening to all the world problems, thinking all the world problems is his, and his problems is the world. Well, that's the worldview of most people. They'd rather hide their smiles than a frown. And the same places where they greet haters with middle fingers, and the same places where they give their hearts out like organ donors. And the same places they give their hearts out like organ donors. And the same places where they have their arms as open as 7-Elevens, just to embrace who you are. And I know he's thinking about this in the back of a cop car, thinking about how yesterday he was going to cop a car just to show people how driven he is, how he's looking at every one of these street corners, feeling like it's the inner road. Every single street corner looked like the inner road. Why all these street corners look like the inner road? How we became boys to men from the inner road. Why all these street corners look like the inner road? Cop turned back to say, shut up, boy. This is the inner road. And in those moments, all I could hear is my irregular heartbeat. And every time I hear my irregular heartbeat, I think to myself, when the last time I hugged a grown man like a newborn child? 10 seconds before he got in that cop car, I screamed at him, hey, homie, man. I rushed up towards him as they shovelled his head in the back seat of the car. I grabbed him tightly as he was handcuffed. Man, I love you. I really mean it. I love you. They pushed me off of him, shut the door, and I yelled at him. I really mean it, man. I love you. Thank you. I was raised around people, they were often named heartless, but that have never been my experience. I have seen so many people in my hood give out their hearts like organ donors just to show how much they love you. They will sit on their porch, staring in the distance because they're longing for something more because they have lost so much. I have found myself in that same stare, longing for something more and just imagining something better and then enacting on it. This next poem is called Flowers, and it's about making something because you enact on your imagination and how that is so much about being black and being resilient and doing when they say nothing can be done, but you do everything. This poem is real short, so you're gonna hear it repeat. It's only 1 minute. Ain't flowers the blackest thing ever? How they put dirt on us and we still grow. Drown us in water and we survive. Planet and everything that keeps us grounded. They be shooting solar rays at us, hoping that we wither. Not knowing our melanin be photosynthesis, the sun be our best friend. Ain't flowers the blackest thing ever? How they put dirt on us and we still grow. Drown us in water and we survive. Planet and everything that keeps us grounded. They be shooting solar rays at us, hoping that we wither. Not knowing our melanin be photosynthesis, the sun be our best friend. Ain't flowers the blackest thing ever? Thank you. So much about this is mental health and how much we can find wealth in knowing where we are, talking to people, realizing that we're not in isolation, we're not alone with our problems, and figuring out the process to deal with it. I've been in and out of therapy for the last 10 years, and that has been my biggest investment. In my time of being in therapy, I had like 6, 7 therapists, all different chapters of my life, all different specific issues that I was dealing with. One therapist had asked me, Lindo, all your poems come out of the need of urgency or some type of fight. What does it mean if you had everything you wanted and never had to ask for it? And I felt like I was fighting my whole life. So I didn't know what it means to have something without a fight. And I started thinking about that for a year and a half. And in that year and a half, I may have located what that meant. And I'm still processing what that really means for me as I go through the chapters of my life. This poem is a response to that. It's called Tough Love. I want to be black man, held and quiet. Small spoon, soft body. I feel as though I am black man, holding in loudness. Spoon fed that I need to be hard body. I feel like nobody. When somebody kills my softness, to be tough, call it tough love. Tough love is being punched until you don't cry, and crying is the only thing that stops the punching from hurting as much. Thank you.